Happy morning students. Welcome to grade 6 English class. Today we are going to learn our first supplementary. This is your supplementary book, A Pact with the Sun. Look at the spellings children. A pact, P-A-C-T, pact, a pact with the sun. Children, our supplementary book consists of 10 chapters, that is 10 lessons. Today we are going to learn our first lesson, A Tale of Two Birds. Look at the title children, A Pact with the Sun. This is the name of the supplementary book. In that our first chapter is A Tale of Two Birds. A tale, T-A-L-E, tale of two birds. This is the name of the story, that is the supplementary. A tale. Can you guess what do you mean by tale? T-A-L-E, tale. Tale means it is the story. So, a story of two birds. The title itself we can identify that this consists of a story between two birds. That is a story of two birds. This story, that is a tale of two birds, speaks and depicts the importance of the company one keeps. How one's company can impact one's behavior and build a character. Listen children, the main theme of this supplementary, A Tale of Two Birds, is about the company one who keeps. This story, A Tale of Two Birds, is all about a mother bird and her two newborn birds. The mother died in a storm and the sons got separated from each other in the thunderstorm. One of them reached near a gang of robbers and the other one landed near the Rishi's ashram. Now let's enter into the story, A Tale of Two Birds. Now look at this first page children. This is our first page of the supplementary, A Tale of Two Birds. A mother bird and her two young ones lived in a forest. The mother was killed in a storm and the young birds were separated from each other. Each found a different home. Listen carefully children. Here there's a mother bird with her two newborn birds. The mother bird died in a storm and the sons got separated from each other in the thunderstorm. Due to the strong wind, the tall tree that they lived on also fell and they were blown away to the other side of the forest. One of them reached near a gang of robbers and the other one landed near the Rishi's ashram. Now look at the first line children. There once lived a bird and her two newborn babies in a forest. They had a nest in a tall, shady tree, and there the mother bird took care of her little ones day and night. Look at this picture children. It is a forest. It is fully covered with the trees and it is consists of bushes also. In a tree, we can find a mother bird sitting along with her two sons. Look at this picture children. You can easily identify that there is a mother bird. It is sitting in a nest along with her two sons. That is along with her baby. A mother bird and her two young ones lived in a forest. They stayed and lived happily. They enjoyed. They flew here and there and they enjoyed their life in a happy way in the forest. The mother bird and her two little sons, that is the two little baby birds, lived a happy life. They enjoyed very well in the forest. They also had a nest by their own. They sat in a tall and shady tree. The mother bird took care of her little ones day and night. The mother bird takes so much of care for her little ones both day and night. They lived a happy life and enjoyed by flying here and there in the forest. Now look at the next paragraph, children. One day there was a big storm. There was thunder, lightning and rain, and the wind blew down many trees. The tall tree in which the birds lived also came down. A big heavy branch hit the nest and killed the bird. Fortunately for the baby birds, the strong wind blew them away to the other side of the forest. One of them came down near a cave where a gang of robbers lived. The other landed outside a rishi's ashram a little distance away. Look at the word, children, robbers, R-O-B-B-E-R-S. What do you mean by robbers? Do you have any guess? Yes, robbers means a person who commits robbery, or you can say as a thief. Then look at the word fortunately, F-O-R-T-U-N-A-T-E-L-Y. In the second paragraph, in the fourth line, fortunately. Fortunately, you can say as luckily, happily or by good luck. Fortunately means luckily, or you can say as happily or by good luck. And then here in the second line, look at there, blew down. The wind and the wind blew down many trees. What do you mean blew down? B-L-E-W. Blew down. D-O-W-N. Blew down means to make fall, to fall down. Listen, children. The mother bird and her two young ones lived a happy life in the forest. The mother bird was taking care of her babies in a tall shady tree. Look at the tree. It is a tall tree. It is shady and they lived in the nest. They lived a happy life. The mother bird takes care of her two young ones day and night. One day a storm came and it made all the trees fall down. A big branch hit the nest and the mother bird was killed. But luckily, the baby birds were blown away to the other side of the forest and were saved. Look at this picture, children. The mother bird and the baby birds lived in the tall shady tree. One day what happened? Suddenly a storm came. Look at the picture. You can easily identify a storm came and the storm made all the trees fall down. Look at this picture. All the trees in the forest were fell down due to the storm. A strong storm came and it make all the trees fell down. So look at here, all the trees were fell down. Then what happened to the birds? The mother bird and the two baby birds were lived in a nest in the tall shady tree. When the storm came, all the trees were fell down and a big branch hit the nest. A branch, the tree's branch hit the nest. Whose nest? The baby bird and the mother bird's nest. A big branch hit the nest and the mother was killed. Look at the picture, children. A big storm came and all the trees were fell down. The branches, a big branch hit the nest and the mother bird was killed. But what happened to the baby birds? But by luckily, what's the meaning of luckily? Fortunately, or you can say as luckily. Luckily, the baby birds, the younger ones, were blown away. They ran away. They fled away from the place to the other side of the forest. But they didn't went outside the forest. They flew away to the other side of the forest and were saved. What happened to the mother bird? The mother bird was died under the tree. But where else these baby birds? Luckily, they blown away to the other side of the forest and they saved. Due to the strong wind, the tall tree that they lived on also fell and they were blown away to the other side of the forest. Both the baby birds were splitted. One of them reached near a gang of robbers. See, the first bird was reached near a gang of robbers. What do you mean robbers, children? A person who commits a robbery, or you can say as a thief who steals other things. A person who commits a robbery, or in a short form you can say as thief. A robber means a thief. A robber's a thief. So the first bird reached near a gang of robbers. After the death of the mother bird, both the young ones were separated from the forest. The first bird, that is the younger one, the first bird reached near a gang of robbers, or you can say thief. It settled over near a gang of thief. Whereas this second bird landed near the Rishi's ashram. Look at this picture, children. The second bird landed near the Rishi's ashram, where we can find peace, silence, the person who helps others. So the second bird saved near the Rishi's ashram, whereas the first bird reached near a gang of robbers. After the mother was killed in a storm, the young birds were separated from each other. Each found a different home. One entered into the place of robbers, whereas the second bird reached the place of a Rishi's ashram. Now look at the next page, children. Days passed and the baby birds became big birds. One day, the king of the country came to the forest to hunt. H-U-N-T, hunt. What do you mean hunt, children? Hunt means to chase and try to catch and kill. That is known as hunt. Hunt means to chase and try to catch and kill. He saw a deer and rode after it. It ran deep into the forest, followed by the king. Soon the king lost his way and didn't know where he was. After a few days, the baby birds became bigger. The two baby birds, after the death of the mother, one stayed in the robber's place, whereas one is living with the rishi. One day, the king of the country reached the forest. Look at this picture, children. Two baby birds were settled in different place. One day what happened? There was a king, and the king of the country, the same country's king, reached the forest. Look at the picture. There is a forest. The king once entered into the forest. He was hunting. What do you mean by hunting, children? Hunting. Hunting means to chase and try to catch, to kill. So here the king of the country entered into the forest to hunt a deer. Look at the picture. A deer is there. What is the spelling for deer? D-E-E-R. On seeing the deer, the king was very happy that he found an animal in the forest. So, the king of the country reached the forest and he was hunting. While hunting, he noticed a deer. He found a deer in the forest and started chasing it. Means, and the king started to follow the deer in the forest. The deer ran far away into the forest. On seeing the king was chasing him, the deer started to run very fast. So the deer ran very fast into the forest. Chasing the deer on horse. Where is the king? The king is sitting on the horse. The king won't be walked for many times. So the king is sitting on the horse. The king was riding. And the king chasing the deer on his horse. The king lost his way. While the king chasing the deer, he lost his way in the forest. Now look at the next paragraph, children. He rode on for a long time till he came to the other side of the forest. Very tired by now, he got off his horse and sat down under a tree that stood near a cave. Suddenly, he heard a voice cry out, "Quick, hurry up! There's someone under the tree. Come and take his jewels and his horse. Hurry, or else he will slip away." The king was amazed. He looked up and saw a big brown bird on the tree under which he was sitting. He also heard faint noises issuing from the cave. He quickly got onto his horse and rode away as fast as he could. While hunting, the king of the country noticed a deer and started chasing it. The deer ran far away into the forest. Chasing the deer on horse, the king lost his way. The king of the country kept riding and reached the other side of the forest. He got down from his horse as he was tired and sat under a tree near the cave. All of a sudden, he heard a voice asking to be quick and rob the person outside of his everything, jewels, horse. The king was surprised to hear that and looked up to check. He noticed a big brown bird on the tree and faint noises coming from the cave. Quickly he mounted the horse and ran away. One day, the king of the country came to the forest to hunt. He saw a deer and he started to hunting. But the deer ran deep into the forest. Then the king of the country forgot the way and he was worried. He found a place and he was so tired, and he reached the other side of the forest. He got down from his horse as he was tired and sat under a tree near the cave. He found a tree and he was tired, so he decided to sat under the tree which is near the cave. Within the second, or all of a sudden, the king heard a voice, or that is, he didn't see a person, but only the king heard the voice that it says to be quick, to be in urgent, to be quick, and rob the person and to steal the things from the person outside of his everything, jewels, horse. The king was surprised on hearing the voice. He didn't see any person nearby, but only he heard the voice. What did the voice say? The voice asked the person to rob everything from the king, including his jewel and also his horse. The king was very much surprised. Who is speaking like this? So he didn't see any person nearby. He can only listen the voice. And the king looked up to check. The king wanted to know who is speaking like this. So the king turned this side and that side and he looked up to check. The king noticed a big brown bird on the tree. The king found a big size brown bird on the tree and faint noises coming from the cave. He found lot of noises. He can hear the noises coming from the cave. Quickly, the king mounted the horse and he ran away. So, whose voice the king heard? The king heard the voice of the bird who lost his mother and ran away and settled in the robber's place. So that big brown bird, so that bird grown into a big size and it takes the characteristics of the robbers, characters of the thieves. So this big bird gave a voice that to ask the robbers to be quick and rob the person outside of this everything, including his jewel and also horse. On hearing this voice, the king found out the bird and he started to run away from the place. Now look at the next paragraph. The king was amazed to hear a similar voice again. He came to know the bird's true story. He met the rishi who explained the behavior of each bird. Soon he came to a clearing which looked like an ashram. It was the Rishi's ashram. The king tied his horse to a tree and sat down in its shade. Suddenly, he heard a gentle voice announce, "Welcome to the ashram, sir. Please go inside and rest. The rishi will be back soon. There's some cold water in the pot. Please make yourself comfortable." The king looked up and saw a big brown bird in the tree. He was amazed. This one looks like the other bird outside the cave. he said to himself loudly. Soon the king of the country reached an ashram. The king tied his horse to a tree and sat down in its shade. Here also he heard a voice, but the voice was so soft, which greeted the king and asked him to come inside and take a rest. It also told him to have cold water from the pot and be at the place till the rishi comes. Surprised, the king looked up to check, and again he found a similar big brown bird in the tree. The king was very much surprised on seeing the similar bird with a big brown in color. So the king found that the voice also same of the two birds which he saw first in the place of robbers, whereas this second bird is also like similar voice, but it is in the place of Rishi's ashram. He was so much surprised. The king was surprised and he found there is a difference between the birds. The first bird lived in the control of the robbers, and the first bird said the words of the robbery, whereas this second bird welcomes the king to the ashram and it treated him very well. The bird, that is the bird which is in the Rishi's ashram, welcomes the king in a soft voice and asked him to get inside and take a rest in the ashram, and the bird told him to have some cold water which is kept in the pot, and the bird asked the king to wait till his rishi comes to the place. The king was surprised how both the birds were same color and same size. Now look at the next paragraph, children. You are right, sir, answered the bird. He is my brother, but he has made friends with robbers. Robbers means thieves. He now talks as they do. He doesn't talk to me anymore. Just then, the rishi entered the ashram. The bird told the king that the king was right. The king's thought and ideas were right. The bird was his brother, the first bird which the king thought was the brother of this bird, but had befriended robbers. But the first bird which the king saw was friended with the robbers. Robbers means thief. The second bird which is living in the ashram, he too had said that his brother, the first bird, had become like the robbers. The bird added that he and his brother no longer talk to each other because the first bird was living with the robbers, whereas this second bird is living in the Rishi's ashram with good qualities. Now look at the next page, children. Welcome, sir, he said to the king. Please come inside and make yourself at home. You look tired. Rest for a while, then you can share my food. On seeing the king in the ashram, the rishi greeted the king and requested him to come inside the ashram and be at ease. He also offered to share his food. The king told the rishi the story of the two birds and how each had behaved so differently, though they looked so alike. The forest is full of surprises, he said. Here he represents to the king. The king explained the different behaviors of the two birds who looked alike. He added that the forest was full of such surprises that the king saw two birds with the same color, the same appearance. One is with the robbers and doing harm to the human beings, whereas it is doing a robbery, whereas this second bird, which is living in the ashram, is very helpful to the persons who came to the place. Now look at the last paragraph, children. The holy man smiled and said, after all, one is known by the company one keeps. That bird has always heard the talk of robbers. He imitates them and talks about robbing people. This one has repeated what he was always heard. He welcomes people to the ashram. Now come inside and rest. I'll tell you more about this place and about these birds. The rishi smiled and explained the impact of the company one keeps. The bird who heard robbers was repeating their words, and the one who was with the rishi was speaking softly and was greeting the people. The rishi asked the king to take rest and offered to tell him more about the birds and the place. The king told the story of the two birds. The rishi gave him the moral of the story that a person is recognized by the people who are friends to them. The first bird got the company of the robber and became like that, while the second bird lived in the company of saints. Now look at the moral of the story, children. One is known by the company one keeps. The birds were brought up in different environments and their behavior and personality were shaped according to that. Choosing the right friends can have a great impact on one's life. By choosing your friend, you can change your activity, your attitude also. So two birds belong to the same family, but they lived in a different situation and with a different person. So according to that person, the behaviors and attitude of the birds were changed. One has a good quality, whereas another one went in a wrong way. So choose the friend who can have a great impact on one's life. So choosing the right friends is the best one. So one is known by the company one keeps. Children, now let's learn the keywords from the supplementary A Tale of Two Birds. Look at the first one, robbers. Robbers means thief, a person who commits a robbery, or you can say a thief. A robber means thief. Second one, fortunately. Fortunately means luckily. Luckily. Fortunately, luckily. Next one, blew down. Blew down means to make fall. To make fall. Hunt. H-U-N-T. Hunt. Hunt means to chase and try to catch. Hunt means to chase and try to catch. Amazed. Amazed means surprised. Amazed. Surprised. Comfortable. Comfortable means suitable. Comfortable means suitable. Welcome. Welcome means to greet. Look at the spelling G-R-E-E-T. Greet. Welcome. To greet. Alike. A-L-I-K-E. Alike means similar, or can say as same. S-I-M-I-L-A-R. Similar. Alike means similar. Imitates. Imitate means copies. Imitates. Copies. Company. Company means fellowship. Company, fellowship. Children, now let's recall the summary of the supplementary, A Tale of Two Birds. This story is all about a mother bird and her two newborn birds. The mother bird died in a storm and the sons got separated from each other in the thunderstorm. Once there lived a mother bird in the forest along with two newborn birds. Once a storm took place in the forest, the mother bird died and the two younger birds, that is the two sons, got separated each other in the thunderstorm. Due to the strong wind, the tall tree that they lived on also fell and they were blown away to the other side of the forest. One of them reached near a gang of robbers and the other one landed near the Rishi's ashram. Due to the strong wind which taken place in the forest, the mother bird was died and the two younger ones, that is the two young baby birds, blown away to the other side of the forest and both were separated. So one of the bird reached a gang of robbers, whereas the next bird, the second bird, reached the place of a Rishi's ashram. Here again he heard the bird's voice, but it was a complete contrast to what he heard earlier. This bird asked the king to take rest inside the ashram and wait for the rishi to come. The king was amazed to see the similar appearance of the birds, but this voice was too gentle. The bird told the king that his brother had learned that language from the robbers. The king ran away on hearing the voice of the first bird which lived with the robbers, and he reached the place of the Rishi's ashram. There also he found a similar bird with a similar structure and color, but he heard the voice of the second bird which is in the ashram was too gentle, and the bird asked the king to take rest inside the ashram, and the bird asked the king to take rest inside the ashram and wait for the rishi to come. When the rishi came, the king shared the story of the birds with him. The rishi smiled and said that it was the impact of the company that was being reflected on the behavior of the birds. That bird was not at fault. He was just repeating what he had heard, and the forest was full of varied surprises. Listen, children, the rishi smiled and explained the impact of the company one keeps. The bird who heard robbers was repeating their words, and the one who was with the rishi was speaking softly and was greeting the people. The rishi asked the king to take rest and offered to tell him more about the birds and the place. So children, we learn from this supplementary that a person should not give company to bad people which makes themselves bad. A person is known by the person who he friends or lives with, and we must friend with good people only. So children, you must be with a good person and you should follow the wordings of a good people. Children, along with this video, I will send you the keywords and also the question answer of this supplementary, A Tale of Two Birds. So learn this and then take down these keywords and question answer in your notebook. Write it neatly, mention the date, write the title, learn and write it. Concentrate on your handwriting, spell it and write it neatly. After completing this, take down a photocopy and send it to me. Thank you.